There's been a lot of girl boss series out there, and one of the most popular ones, of course, includes the American comedy drama The Bold Type. We haven't seen this much dose of girl power in the writing industry for a while, and it gave us 5 good seasons of interpersonal and career development among the lead characters. But despite all this, the series has its own controversial moments as well, with one of the lead actors speaking up about it. Find out more in today's video. How are you doing, guys? Hopefully you're all getting vaccinated. I am. Welcome back to our channel. For today, we'll be looking at some of the most controversial moments in the Bold Type series. If you're curious to know what these moments are, watch until the end to know more. But before we proceed with today's video with you, kindly do us a good one and click that like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you won't miss any of our new releases. Like every series that has bloopers and behind-the-scenes drama, The Bold Type also has some of its most controversial moments, which we'll share with you now. The Bold Type. What's the series about? The Bold Type is an American comedy drama series created by Sarah Watson. It drew inspiration from the life and career of former editor-in-chief of Cosmopolitan magazine, Joanna Coles, who is executive producer of the series. The series revolves around the trio of millennial women, namely Jane Sloan, Kat Edison, and Sutton Brady, who work for Scarlet, a fictional global women's magazine led by its editor-in-chief, Jacqueline Carlisle. Set in New York City, it shows how the trio navigates through their lives in the Big Apple, which also looks into their career and romantic relationships. The first season starts with Jane as a new writer for Scarlet, while Sutton is in a secret relationship with a Scarlet board member, and as the episode progresses, she also realizes that she is ready for a change in her career and attains a fashion assistant position. Kat, on the other hand, serves as Scarlet's social media director who's starting to explore her sexuality. By the 5th and final season, we see Jane as she struggled to execute her managerial duties while also juggling the challenges that came with the post. She is working on a new project with Adina to help former prisoners to reintegrate into society, while Sutton fumbles and finds her way as she copes with alcohol problems and how to succeed in her career while dealing with the pain from her divorce. A call for openness, lack of diversity is prevalent in the show. You'd think a show that's starred by millennial heroines would be progressive, no? Apparently, not too much with this series. Although it did have its fair share of better qualities, if there's one thing prevalent in the show is its lack of diversity. Aisha Dee, the actress who portrayed Kat Edison, has opened up about this issue in July 2020, wherein she called out to address the lack of diversity behind the scenes as well as question a recent plot arc that found her character falling for a conservative woman. In a 10-slide long letter, she took to Instagram her experiences on the show and her call for more diversity behind the camera. Captioned, "For us hearts," she started the letter by narrating her experience growing up in very white, very conservative spaces in Australia in the 90s. She shared that art and acting was a place where she could celebrate her blackness. "It sounds kind of cliche, but the characters in these stories were my friends. They made me feel less alone," she wrote. She went on to write that playing Kat was the first time she got to play a character who was centered in herself in her own narrative. She wasn't just the white character's best friend. She was empowered and confident. She approached the exploration of her queer identity with an open heart and was met with nothing but love and acceptance from her friends. Kat Edison, unapologetic, outspoken, brave, the woman I always wished I could be. Dee wrote a lengthy post on her Instagram page wherein she also stated that she drew courage from her character to speak the truth. "I always try to bring up my concerns in a positive and constructive way, conscious of the realities that come with being the only woman of color in the room. I never wanted to come across as ungrateful, negative, or difficult," Dee wrote on her Instagram page. What would Kat do? She would take a stand and advocate for herself and all other marginalized voices to influence change, she continued. "I am ready to push harder and speak louder for what matters to me. The diversity we see in front of the camera needs to be reflected in the diversity of the creative team behind the camera." The Bold Type is praised for its progressive plot lines and interest in social justice, but it lags in real-life progress behind the scenes in production. Like what Dee said, it took 2 seasons to get a single BIPOC in the writer's room. She emphasized how her character spent a large portion of the series in an on-again, off-again relationship with Adina, Nicole Boucheri, a Muslim woman. "There have never been any queer, black, or Muslim writers in the room." And it doesn't end there. She further added, "In 4 seasons, 48 episodes, we've had one black woman direct 2 episodes. It took 3 seasons to get someone in the hair department who knew how to work with textured hair. This was impactful on so many levels, and I'm grateful for the women who showed me how to embrace and love my hair in a way I never had before." The Bold Type was created by Sarah Watson, a white woman, and the show was run by Wendy Straker Hauser, also a white woman, which further proves Dee's Dee's point on how the show lacks diversity. There's no black female that led a department despite showing her character serve as a department leader at the fictional magazine. The level of care, nuance, and development that has gone into the stories centering white hetero characters is inconsistent with the stories centering queer characters and POC, Dee added. I do not believe this is intentional. We cannot bring specificity and honesty to experiences we have not lived. And when there is a lack of representation, the way marginalized characters are treated is even more important because they have the potential to empower or perpetuate damaging stereotypes that have a lasting and real effect on real people. In an article published by Vanity Fair in July 2020, the production crew slowly diversified as the season progressed, and eventually it even tapped in a lesbian of color on the staff as far back as Season 2. In Season 4, 5 of the show's 10 staff writers are persons of color, while 3 of the 10 identify as LGBTQ+. 8 of the 10 are women. But that was behind the scenes, and the public was more critical of what they saw on the screen, which is the show's plotline, especially Kat's relationship with the conservative daughter of the board chairman, a man who supported anti-gay policies like conversion therapy. The decision to have Kat enter into a relationship with a privileged conservative woman felt confusing and out of character, Dee wrote. Despite my personal feelings about the choice, I tried my best to tell the story with honesty, even though the Kat I know and love would never make these choices. It was heartbreaking to watch Kat's story turn into a redemption story for someone else, someone who is complicit in the oppression of so many, someone whose politics are actively harmful to her communities. Dee added more in writing wherein she said, I'm critical because I care, because I've seen firsthand the incredible impact of this show, and I believe in its potential to be better. For a show that frequently uses words like intersectionality, inclusion, discourse, and the various isms, I wonder how its stories may have been elevated had they been told through the lens of people with a more varied lived experience. The actress shared how she talked about her concerns with the show's writers and producers, as well as executives at Freeform and Universal TV, which produces The Bold Type. I'm hopeful we will have the opportunity to tell more authentic stories by hiring, promoting, and listening to diverse voices across the entire production of The Bold Type and beyond, she wrote. This is an opportunity to walk the walk, to really practice the things The Bold Type teaches, by acknowledging mistakes and making commitments to be better in the future. She concluded the note by saying that she feared for her actions, but she believes it's a necessary task for the betterment of the show. By speaking out, I'm taking a risk, she wrote. It's scary, but it's worth it. This is not judgment. This is a call to action. We deserve to see stories that are for us, by us. Her co-stars Katie Stevens, who portrays Jane, and Meghann Fahy, who plays Sutton, also showed support for her and boosted her post on social media. Freeform's response: enacting positive change. Thankfully, Dee's concerns were received and addressed in a positive light. We applaud Aisha for raising her hand and starting conversations around these important issues. We look forward to continuing that dialogue and enacting positive change, a representative for Freeform said in a statement to Vanity Fair. Our goal on The Bold Type is and has always been to tell entertaining, authentic stories that are representative of the world that Kat, Jane, and Sutton live in. We can only do that if we listen. So thankfully, the series managed to wrap it up nicely, giving the characters the justice they need and concluding their arcs well. And with that, we're concluding today's episode about The Bold Type's most controversial moments exposed. Hopefully, you learned a lot and enjoyed today's video as much as we did making it. Do check out our channel if you like this video, since we've got more content to cater to your needs, from tutorials to celebrity news to curious trivia. Thanks for watching today's video, and before you go, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so you won't miss any of our newest uploads. I'll talk to you again in the next episode.